If you've worked hard, you followed the rules, you've earned the credentials, and you're still doing well, but something feels limited, this is for you. And no, this is not about motivation. It's not about mindset. And it's not because you're unclear or unqualified. It's because at a certain level, the system itself has limits. And most people don't realize they've hit the ceiling until they start feeling restless, maybe boxed in or frustrated. And I want to talk to you about that ceiling and what it means when you can see it. So, for the next couple of minutes, we are going to name the experience you may be feeling. We're going to talk about what corporate capped means, why working harder doesn't necessarily solve that problem, and what actually creates expansion. Because there is a specific experience that some professionals face, and they have a hard time explaining it. And it looks like this. So on paper, things look fine. You're responsible, you're capable, you have a great job, you've climbed the corporate ladder, you've progressed. But internally, you know that if this is as far as it goes, I want something more. But not more hustle, not more stress, and not more titles. You simply want more space, more alignment, more freedom, more income, more control. And the truth is this: many professionals aren't stuck because they lack ambition. They're stuck because the system they're in is designed with caps. My background is HR, and so what does that look like? It shows up as salary bands. There's pay ranges for the position that you're in. It shows up as promotion bottlenecks because there's only so many positions available. It could show up as budgetary limits or constraints, and that could lead to layoffs. It could show up as the corporate politics. It could show up as timing. It could show up as knowing this, that hard work matters, but hard work only matters until it doesn't move you further anymore. And so that's what corporate capped really means. Being corporate capped doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that you're operating inside a structure, inside a system that was never built for unlimited growth. Because ultimately it's this: promotions are finite. There are only so many positions available during promotion season. Raises are incremental. You could be waiting all year for a raise, and the raise results in how much of an increase in pay. It could be opportunities that depend on decisions that you don't control. And at some point, your effort stops equaling expansion. And this is the point when people start feeling restless. This is when they start feeling boxed in. This is when they could start feeling bored, but you're not lazy. It could be you're grateful for the job. You're grateful for the income because you could be getting paid very well. You're grateful for the benefits, but you're unsatisfied. And so this is not a character flaw. It's just a structural reality. And once you see it, once you see the ceiling, you can't unsee it. And so this is why working harder doesn't always solve this problem. It's because most people respond to this problem. They respond to this feeling by doing more. You want to go out and you want to get more certifications. You work more hours. And oftentimes when you climb the corporate ladder, it equals more hours. It could be more waiting. You have to wait longer for a promotion. You have to wait for the raise. It could be more loyalty. Now you're sticking with the company that you've been with because you're waiting, and it all goes together. But know this, that the effort doesn't remove the ceiling. It just makes life heavier underneath it. And this is why so many capable professionals burn out quietly. And it's not because they necessarily hate their work. However, some individuals may, and that's a separate conversation for a separate time, but it's because the path forward just feels narrow. But I want you to know this, that fulfillment cannot exist where expansion isn't possible. And that is the part that no one really talks about. So this is what actually creates the expansion. Expansion doesn't come from climbing higher and higher inside the same box. It comes from changing how income is generated. But no, this is not about quitting recklessly. I am not about that. It's not about abandoning your responsibility. I tell people all the time, if you are working a job, work the job, work it well, show up on time, do everything do good work, because we're good human beings, right? But this is about creating income that isn't capped by one role. It's not dependent on one promotion. It's not limited to one decision maker. And it could show up as by turning what you know into cash flow. And how does that show up? It could be consulting. It could be digital offers, products, your intellectual property. It could be turning your experiences or your expertise, turning your story into books, into messages, or into travel-based experiences. It could be a service-based experience or business. But this is where things truly begin to matter. And it is not a hustle, it's leverage. And this is how people create space without blowing up everything in your life. And so at this point, I know for a fact there are 2 or 3 different people, and there's 2 different paths, maybe 3. But neither one of them is wrong. You see, some individuals are listening to this information and you're like, oh my goodness, this is a lot of information. I need to process this. I need to see where I'm capped. I need to see what's possible for me. And if that's you, then I created a short mini experience that helps you work through this step by step, quietly, clearly, without pressure. There are others that are listening to this information and you're like, this confirmed what I already knew. I already knew this, and I don't need more information. I need a plan. So if that's you, then there's a way to apply to work directly with me inside Elevate University. And that's where we build the income expansion intentionally and sustainably. And the third option may be like, this doesn't apply to me at all, which, you know what? I still want you to win. I still want you to find the thing that lights your fire, whether you work with me or not. But I want you to know that all of the options are fine, and you'll know exactly which one fits you. But know this, that this is not about quitting your job. It's about not being trapped by it. And fulfillment and provision don't have to compete. And the ceilings don't have to define your future. So if you can see the ceiling, then you still have time. And I hope to see you on the other side. It's time to fly, because fulfilling living is an intentional lifestyle.